Being an educator is one heck of a lonely journey, but every step holds a story, an experience that shapes how we teach, learn, and grow. Welcome to the Educator Experience. I'm your host, Salli Carter, and together we'll explore the moments that define us as educators. Through authentic conversations and shared experiences, we're building a community that connects, reflects, and inspires, all while breaking down barriers in education, one story at a time. You are not alone. Let's grow together. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Educator Experience podcast. My name is Salli Carter, and this is a space where us educators share our real and impactful moments from our teaching journeys and what we've learned from them along the way. Today, I'm sitting down with my good friend, Danielle Tighe, who brings a unique perspective to the table. She began her career as a campus administrator before moving into a faculty role, which gave her a rare inside view into both sides of the post-secondary world. So Danielle shares with us how understanding institutional resources has allowed her to better support her students and why that kind of insight matters more than ever. We also dive into what it's like to be an entrepreneur in education and how that mindset keeps us constantly observing, tuning into how others show up, engage, and collaborate. Because let's be honest, we're always scouting future collaboration potential. Oh, and there's no one else I'd rather be stuck in teacher jail with other than Danielle, and you'll understand why soon. If you're enjoying what we're building here at the Educator Experience, please take a moment to follow us on Apple or Spotify and leave a 5-star review. Also, feel free to share your feedback. Your support helps us to keep building something truly meaningful for new educators navigating this wild and wonderful space. Now let's dive in. Welcome, Danielle. Can you start by sharing a little bit about your journey?
My background really is that I feel like a lot of people, when they come into faculty, they start as that academic. So they come in starting in faculty. Some eventually move on to become administrators within the academic side of the school. As you know, I started in administration. So
You did a little backwards
I
switch.
did things backwards, which
Yeah.
shouldn't really surprise anybody if you know me. I feel like I don't do things start to finish the way you normally would. So I mean, I came in through the administration entrance of higher education. My background is in biological sciences, specifically in plants.
So cool. It's so interesting to relearn that about you because it's just not how I picture you.
Well, my undergrad was in biological sciences. I did kind of the environmental stuff that I could, along with a business minor.
And then you went on to do your grad studies after that, I think, right?
So I worked for Olds College first out of university. And so I'd been brought into a position that was very accurately designed for me without knowing I was coming into it. So the position at the time was a marketing and sustainability officer. So
Like
it was,
literally your two
yeah,
things.
it was originally supposed to be part time, starting up the Office of Sustainability for the college, and half time as well working within marketing for the registrar's office.
I feel like that's a total small college vibe. They're like, we need someone to do some of this and some of this, and we're just gonna create a thing.
They really do, and this one was a total genius part of the director for sustainability and the learning enterprises there, because somehow she had finagled into getting this position out of the registrar's office. So I actually ended up getting to do more of the sustainability side than the marketing side. She ended up having me full times. We started there and then moved into facilities, and she was the one who actually pointed me into the direction of, you need to do more in higher education and go and continue into grad school in order to move through higher education. And so that was really when I started to look and think about, what I wanted to do and where I wanted to go from there.
And so you started in the admin side, and did you I know of you since you've been living in Salmon Arm.
Mhm.
And for anyone who doesn't know where Salmon Arm, British Columbia is, look it up. The pictures are gorgeous. It is breathtaking. I was like, what is this absolute sweetheart of a city? Um, yeah, it's gorgeous. But what brought you to where you are now? So you started at Olds in Alberta.
Yeah, so I started in Alton, Alberta. I moved into Revelstoke, actually. So the Oakville College satellite campus in Revelstoke was where I landed next in um, leading that campus there, and really instilled that want to be working with students. I mean, that was the best part of any of the roles within higher education, and what stuck with me was always working with the students. Uh, they're seriously the best part. They're optimistic and full of so much hope and dreams as to what they want to be doing coming out of higher education that it's just contagious. Uh, you can't help but want to continue as well with your learning and helping them get to their goals too. So,
Well, you're like a boots on the ground. You're like a first point of contact too. As an administrator, sometimes you have those conversations before they even get to the classroom, don't you? And create those connections before they even get to the classroom, which is really exciting.
yeah, so I mean, even though I wasn't teaching yet at that point, um, it was very much a student supportive role and that connector. So matching students with jobs, awards, anything from um, tutors to housing supports and food supports, anything social really that they needed, transportation. It's a small city, so on top of having that large hat as an administrator on a small campus, it's also um, you have the supports of other people in the area, especially with how well connected the college is within the community.
I know a couple of campus administrators for regional offices. What a busy gig. Y'all know everything. It is It is wild. The things that you are responsible for making sure happen and are cohesive, and it's a lot. It's
Mhm.
just like there's so many different things that go on for
Yeah,
y'all.
you get exposed to everything right away.
Yeah.
Of course, like you're the first point of contact for anything. So we don't have IT on campus. So like your IT skills all of a sudden are augmented
Yeah.
tenfold.
You didn't have IT?
We had phone support IT.
Oh my God, I would die. That's crazy.
Yeah, ours was scheduled. CJ would come out like once a month or whatever. or
That's wild. And then what happened after that?
well, at that point, I was nearing the end of my master's, which was great. Pandemic kind of ended, and so I had made it very clear that I wanted to get into teaching and working with students in that additional capacity. And so I was fortunate enough that at the time Bill Gillett was our dean, and I had a wonderful relationship with Bill and our chair at the time. Carrie Rempel was the first chair at that when I was there, and so just working with that leadership group that I'd had those relationships already built within the administration side of things. They were willing to take the chance on me as a faculty member as well, and I'm so grateful that they did because I love it so much. And so I've been doing that now, working within the faculty group for the last 4 years.
That's awesome. Come to the classroom with such a unique perspective in terms of more than the average educator, right? With respect to how the institution works. What would you say is the biggest advantage for you, or the impact on that move?
I wouldn't even say it's advantage for me. I would say the biggest impact or the biggest advantage for students, I think, is that from the start of the classes, when I get in there, I'm trying to already let them know ahead of time where those resources are that they can be accessing. So I think, especially with term faculty, because I am contract faculty, when other faculty members come in, there's that big learning curve in terms of coming in and knowing what the resources are available, not only to them but to the students. So it's not a one stop, know where to go for everything. And so while the educator's trying to figure out where to point students in a direction, the students also trying to figure out where to go. And so I think that's really a big advantage for them, is when I come in, I do try and make sure that um, the students are armed with that information, because whether or not they need it now, they'll probably need it in a few weeks, once they get to midterms, once they get to finals, once they're trying to figure out how to declare a major, or once they're trying to figure out how to do a co-op or anything like that. So just letting them know what's available to them, I think makes a big difference. I also always try to make sure that there are awards, and there are specific award applications that are coming through. And I don't think I've ever come across students that are like, no, we don't need funding. Like,
Right.
please don't tell me where to find more award money. I try and carve out time even within the classes to make sure that those forms and such are in front of them, and they know how to access those resources.
That's so cool. I just recently did a bunch of research with respect to the new educator journey. And one of the things, I think you might have done my survey too, actually. Thank
Yeah.
you. But one of the things, the most interesting things that came out of that research is that a lot of new instructors or sessionals don't always know or are familiar with institutional policies and different departments, right? And student supports and stuff. So we've actually, it's coming out pretty quickly. I think maybe within the next week is a PDF that of all the questions new educators can ask in order to make those connections. Like I remember being at Okanagan College, and I was stopping in at all the different departments and making appointments with people and trying to figure out what I needed to know in order to support my first year students, right? And so I was in the know and not taken off guard. And they said they had never had anyone like proactively come meet them and try to get to know about their departments and stuff. And I'm like, I my biggest fear is or not knowing something, because I think that's natural, but giving students the wrong information because I make an assumption. So yeah, it was kind of funny. It sounds so boring, institutional policies and procedures, but it's such an important thing to know, right? And actually that's one I don't think about very often are the awards. So thank you for that. I'm gonna do some more digging and see if I can add that to some of our stuff.
Yeah. And I feel like there are more awards for domestic students over international. So it gets like that extra bit of a challenge, just trying to find those additional funding resources for international students. And we've had, like, if you go through faculty and you go through the administration on that academic side as well, there are so many people that care. Like, you can be one student and you can be one international student, and just trying to navigate any of those systems. And if you're reaching out for help, like, there are so many people who are trying to assist as well. I mean, you try and drill into the students' heads, like, it's really worth it for you to get to know your professors and reach out when you do need the help.
Totally, right?
Yeah, you to say it
Yeah.
over and over and over again, right?
It really does make a difference, and having those offhand conversations and actually getting to know each other. I like to joke, but because I'm in business, I can't help but always like I hire people whom I have worked with. So whether it's been in grad school or I know them already from different functions, my colleagues in different areas. And I always look at students, like the ones who stand out or are good in particular areas. And then I recommend them to other people for certain things. I don't know if students truly understand how impactful it can be to really get to know your instructors. Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, if you look at my LinkedIn, I think most of my posts from the last year are definitely like, "These people are graduating, you really should hire them. These are
Yes.
the skills
Yes.
these people have." And
Hire these fabulous young people.
if you're following faculty members on LinkedIn and they're posting about them, like, again, just reaching out and talking to that faculty member to see if those skills match up with whatever opening exists.
if you're putting yourself out there, you'll have better luck, right?
Mhm.
With respect to getting a job or whatever it is. So what's something else that's really been a neat experience or that has shaped your career somehow?
I think recently, it's been opening our own business, right? So we have, this thought process of like, okay, we're starting up, we're going to need employees sooner or later. Um, and so you put in the effort to like know all of these students and know what's going on. And now I feel like I'm just waiting, like just graduate so that we can start
Did I
doing.
just do the perfect segue to that then
No,
without even knowing? That's so awesome. Are we sharing a brain
it's
today?
a full circle moment.
So with your business, let me just recap for a sec because that was awesome. Um, you're you're literally you're the same. You're looking at your students, right? There's this amazing pool of you already know their drive, their dedication, their commitment. For me, tasks and stuff can come. It's more about um, who they are, right? Their commitment, their questions, and that type of stuff. What are you looking for? What do you
Well,
like?
they're all really focused on grades, right? Like when you're in college and you're in university and you're really stressed out about grades, and I get that that's a big component, but the nice part about like the insights you get from teaching is that I'm 4 years when you're done, I'm not gonna remember what you got in your intro accounting course, right? Like it's not something that sticks with you. What sticks with you really is that work ethic and the communication and those kinds of different skills, the ability to follow through with what you say you're going to do and those kinds of things that really stick out um, in terms of hiring and the students you really want to recommend or hire. Because of course we did just get into that great segue.
Yeah. So you get it from when you're an entrepreneur, you can't help it. It's like I'm continuously judging people, but not in a like you're making a bad decision kind of way, or I don't like what you're wearing kind of way, but more like am I compatible in terms of innovation or advancing this? And yeah, I feel like our brains work differently. I've had this conversation with a couple of people. Our brains work differently. It's like we're always thinking business. You just can't, it doesn't stop. It doesn't
Well,
stop.
and I think that's just part of even making the connections, right? Like you're making the connections for yourself, but you're also making the connections for everybody, including those students, right? So even being in that campus manager role for the Revelstoke site, it was all about making those connections internally or externally for the students and the college. So I think that's just something that is brought into every aspect of education.
That's so cool. I should, because she's gonna watch this. But I have on our team here one of my peers from my graduate program that I worked with. And when I reached out to her, I said to her, because we worked in teams together, I said, at the end of the day, what I know about you is that you will do the right thing no matter what. And that holds so much weight for me in terms of what I'm trying to grow and build and where I currently stand in life. To just know that someone is going to do what they genuinely believe is the right thing. Yeah. So
Those
yeah,
those emotional yeah, skills.
yeah, right? Yeah, I can tell you are just a dang good person. And she's probably going to smile when she's editing this podcast, but that's the reason. Yeah, you just can't help but notice these things in people
Yeah,
through
I
certain
was
behavior.
yeah, I was talking to another entrepreneur around here as well, um, and I was talking to her about one of the smaller towns as well around Salmon Arm. If you're looking at Sycamus, it's another gorgeous spot, great beach. She was saying that she used to live there, and so she would kind of gather friends there and train them as she goes. She was
Yeah, I
essentially
know,
training her
right?
friends to eventually become workers for her business as well. And so I think it's just it falls into that different business model.
Yeah, I feel like if there is an opportunity for me to know someone's character first, that just holds so much weight for me. I there is that crushed already, and now we can just build. Like, let's move past all this first dating, haven't had a smooch yet, and let's just get to the relationship good stuff. And like, like let's build some cool shit and challenge each other. Yeah, so that's kind of cute. But there's just something to be said, I think, of like poaching students. Is that even a term? Is this illegal? I hope not. My
I
God.
don't know if we should
Am I
call
going
it
to
coaching
teacher jail
students.
at some point? I can't help it. I
I feel like
look
we've
at
had
everyone
many
like a potential business colleague. Like, what can we make magic with together?
again, like we look at these as advantageous for us, but so many of these advantages are so mutual because this is their goal, right? Like, yeah, everything's in the we're not. This is in the best interest of the students and graduates. They want jobs.
We're in a teacher jail cell together. We would build some incredible business that would just knock it out of the park, and we'd still hire people we knew.
Yeah, no.
100%. So what else did you want to share about that? I kind of like sidetracked that for you a bit. I apologize. Got
Yeah.
really excited about teacher jail. Just the impact on that for you in terms of you're building a business right now, which is super successful. I just hear all the raves coming out of your area. Um, Congrats. Super exciting. Yeah. So what's that like having that business and teaching too?
Um, I mean, I'm probably one of those people who thinks I can actually do everything. Um, super humble there. I think sometimes there is this concern over whether or not you can actually do it all, and I don't necessarily agree with that, right? So I personally I do have a full-time job, as I mentioned. I have our business, and then I do teach as well with as term faculty with the college, and so I think quite often that that's trying to prove that I do still belong in the education world, despite the fact that I have other priorities going on as well. I love teaching, so it really does take up more of my hobby time, I think, than anything, because it's just so rewarding to begin with, and so the business itself, I don't run it by myself. Obviously, my husband is an accountant, so he deals quite a bit with the actual accounting pieces of things. And then
Accountant and builder and house builder.
accountant, accountant,
An
and house
interesting
builder.
combo.
Well, the best thing about it is he really knows how to talk trades along with
That's awesome.
accounting for them.
As an educator and sessional too, you know so much more than the average sessional. What do you think sessionals miss that we need to know?
I think a lot of sessionals come in thinking it's like a one course, one semester job, when really it needs to be that longer term outlook on somebody being brought back in. So and I recognize that agreements handle it this way, uh, but we really only look for people for the one course, one semester, or one couple courses in a year, sort of a thing. And there's no longevity to it. So people come in, they make the connections within the classroom, but they really don't get that external outlook in terms of exactly what you did. Them saying that you came in and actually asked about all of the resources available and that nobody had ever done that, I am not surprised. So we would have term faculty who would come in, they would pick up a computer, and you wouldn't see them as much. I mean, Revelstoke's also probably this because it's small, it probably happened less. I assume that this does also happen more in larger campuses, and maybe I'm not the right person to speak to that necessarily, because a lot of people within Revelstoke are many hat people. And so whether or not we saw them again within term faculty, we definitely saw them again as a college.
Right. Right.
You come in, you see the students, you're there to teach whatever you are there to teach, and then you're removed. So where's that succession piece? Like, where's that pass off in terms of following up with that term faculty to find out what resources they did use or what resources they were missing in order to help the next group coming in, whether they're included or not?
Yeah, it's tricky, right? because administration, I think, is in a challenging position because they can't offer stuff. But yes, it would be nice for new educators to be more involved and but once again, it's time, money, right? Then we're asking them to do things for free, and it's just this crazy little situation, isn't it?
It really is. I don't envy the administrator. Like, I don't want to put that on the administration, especially as a former administrator. I
Right?
totally get those constraints.
Challenging.
Yeah.
At some point, I want to have like some sort of forum or thing. Uh, Maybe not this public of a thing where people's names or whatever, but they can be honest about things that they've fucked up at. I've never seen anyone be super honest. This past semester in winter, I was telling students, and it was in my syllabus because I saw it in someone else's, that they needed a medical note if they were going to miss a quiz or a test. I found out, and I was hard with this. It's the rule. Like I can't make exceptions. It's here. I told you this from the onset. I'm like, you're out of luck. Because I feel I'm very bendable. So I got to just be hard with some stuff. And then I find out at the end of the semester that is an old, antiquated rule, and it's actually illegal. I use the word illegal probably inappropriately, but it
I
is
think it's
wrong.
act-
If I'm just going to teach from teacher drill. How about that? And that's completely wrong and against policies to ask for that. And I went an entire like had anyone challenged that, I would have been wrong. Anyways, that was a big faux pas.
yeah, I don't know, in terms of like bendable. I had one student this last semester. You would have laughed. You would have loved her. She
Oh, is this
we were
good or bad?
it was no, it was good. It was just a very small city kind of scenario. She was late for one of the quizams because it's marketing. You probably forgot about
Quickly
the
forget about
quizams.
things. Oh my god.
Yeah, so it was one of the quizams, and I think she had slept in or something. And of course, it was one of the quick ones. It was like one of the first couple. And so her friends were like texting her and they couldn't get her. And it was like the exam was done. But of course, I was still there because it was still class time. And they couldn't get a hold of her. So one student knew where she lived, but he'd been late. So he was about to start the exam. Really, like, this was a chaos
This
class.
is such small town stuff, hey.
Yeah, this was also like I told them this was not happening again. But for the first one, he came in late. He was about to write, but they were going to go get her so that she could write. So he was trying to explain to two of the other students where she lived. He's like, go up this street. This is her car. This is like the cross street of where she lives. And so they ran out. I was like, whatever you do, just drive safe. Like, I will let her write the test. Like, just be safe about this.
Yeah, don't freak out and yeah.
So
Yeah.
they ran off to go get her, and sure enough, she came running in, sweatpants, and rolled out of bed, and, you know, the whole 9 yards. And so I let her write the exam anyway after at the end of class, and it's such a small town thing. I was like, this happens once.
Yeah,
Next
that
time,
happened
I'm
when
not
I
doing
was in Salmon Arm too. A
yeah.
group of international students forgot about the exam or something or slept in or whatever, and they were all calling each other and texting each other, and yeah, it was wild. It was chaos. I'm like, just if you get here before the end of the class, I can figure something out for you.
Like, you can always figure something out, but it's like, should you, right? So like,
Yeah.
okay, I'll do this once, but like,
Yeah. Well,
you need
here's
to
the
learn
thing,
time management.
right? I'm like, I don't know how much more I could explain. So it's in the syllabus. I talk about it every class. I put it up on the board every class. We have conversations about it. Like I'm not really sure what more I can be doing. So this is on you.
Have you figured out how to deal with AI in all of those papers?
Oh yeah, man. Like I don't know. Because I'm a student too, I know what it looks like because I'm using it all day and for my business. I'm using ChatGPT like I would die if ChatGPT were non-existent. So I know the words, I know what it looks like. And I'm like, I know this is a fully ChatGPT paper and there's nothing really I can do about it. I'm trying to just not stress myself out and just until I have a clear plan, I just don't
Yeah, I
do.
don't know. I kind of feel like you don't want to avoid it, right? Because exactly as you said,
Yeah.
you're using it for business. Like we all
Yeah.
use
I
it.
have no desire to avoid it. I just don't know
Yeah,
boundaries and parameters
it
yet.
needs to be put within the actual course curriculum or course material because people need to be using it. It just people need to learn how to use it as a tool and not rely on it because even in business world, uh, we have a number of errors that can pop up if people are just
Yeah.
relying on the
Well, I'm just a little aloof still, undecided where I'm going to fall with it.
yeah.
But I am a big proponent of inclusion, but figuring
I
it out
don't know
yet.
that like I don't know how much you can rely on it to go into academic integrity at this point, but like I do use one of Orwick's tools still in terms of like the first class, I have them write paper, pen to paper, all about themselves so that you get an idea of their writing style ahead of time. So, I mean, even if you can't address it at a formal level, you can informally address it with the student. Be like, this is not your voice. Like, we still want to, you need to use this tool, but we want to hear from you what you think as well. And if this should incorporate your own word and your own stance as well as what you can get from AI, because I can tell you in a, um, from a business standpoint, if somebody's just chatting you and copying and pasting out of a bot, it's also just as annoying because you know you're not talking to an actual human being.
Right?
What what's
Yeah,
what's what's anything without that human connection?
I know. That's why I I will sometimes I'm a little bit too me, and then I like take my sentence, even in my professional emails, I'm like,
Yeah.
here's it. I'm gonna put it into AI. Please make this more professional, a little less weird. So then it's like too professional. So then I'll put a heart at the
Yeah,
end.
you can't,
Just say no, it's me.
like
I'm
grab
still
a
here.
couple.
It's so nice when other people think this way too. Like when you're hired for that sessional, you just don't know anything. Like
No,
you're hired because of your skills. You go in, you think, just there's so much to know before that first classroom, and you're not given anything. So I'm developing a suite of e-courses that's going to be your hired now what that really bridges that gap. Yeah. Oh, so many good tidbits. Thank you so much, Danielle. I'm so excited that you were able to take the time. And beautiful. What is your weather like today? Is it just
I mean, it has been really beautiful lately. It's very sunny, but today's a little cooler, and I don't mind. I think we could all hope for some rain for a couple of days. So
it's amazing. So once again, folks, Google salmon arm. Look at all the adorable as heck pictures because that is exactly the vibe. And I love it. Thanks again, Danielle. And I look forward to chatting with you soon.
thanks, Salli.
Thank you for joining us on today's episode of the Educator Experience. We hope you're walking away feeling connected, inspired, and just a little bit more supported on your journey. Ready to go a little bit deeper? Join the Educator Experiences community and check out our courses and workshops specifically designed to support new educators as they navigate the ups, downs, and everything in between. You'll find it all at educatorexperiences.com. If today's conversation resonated with you, share it with a fellow educator and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Together, we're building a vibrant community rooted in support and connection. See y'all next Monday.